This video is about the missionaries in Haiti who were arrested for taking children illegally to the Dominican Republic. The thing that's most interesting about this story, about these Baptist missionaries from Idaho, is that the mentalities and assumptions that surround it. I saw in the news this morning there was some discussion on the TV about these missionaries. They're being treated like victims in the U.S. media, about Bill Clinton going to Haiti to talk to the Haitian government about aid and stuff, and that maybe he would bring up the issue of the missionaries. So now these missionaries are victims that diplomats and people of fame should go and help assist them get out of Haiti, particularly because they're white. But the fact of the matter is that they were taking children illegally from Haiti into the Dominican Republic to put them in a building, call them orphans, and raise money off them. They were using these children to set up an orphanage that you can't do without money, and once you do it, you have to raise a lot of money in order to keep it going, and you have 10 people who would go and remove 30 orphans, they called them. Okay, turned out the kids had parents. Maybe some of them were orphans, maybe some of them weren't, but the paperwork hadn't been done, and after this disaster, who knows? But without documentation, it's trafficking. The other interesting thing about this is that this story morphs from them doing something bad to just being victims of misunderstanding. Now, they're saying that only one person, the group leader, knew that it was illegal what they were doing, and the other 9, they're going to try to get them free. This sort of bait and switch thing that, look, we'll get you to be the bad guy, we'll all get out, and then we'll work to get you released, sort of, you know, shrinking the size of the problem. But it's in a lot of the press that they were arrested for doing something illegal, and it's in the press because it happened close by in Haiti. But the fact of the matter is, American missionaries have been doing this from the time they took the American Indian children, Canadian Indian children. And they're still doing this in a lot of countries, and they're doing it particularly in Thailand to the Akha people. So the practice is no different, but because Thailand's a long ways away, and because most of the journalists that report on Thailand live there, and they're busy in places like Chiang Mai with their hookers and their beer, and they don't want to talk about what the missionaries are doing because there's this missionary mafia, and they might not be popular in Thailand anymore if they reported on these stories. So they're not going to report on them. Or they just have almost zero interest in issues in Thailand that affect the ethnic peoples. Okay? But the story in Thailand is no different. The missionaries go in, they use a broker or whatever means they have to use. They use somebody locally. They pay them money. They take away children anywhere from 20 to 50 to 100 to 500 children. And they put them in these buildings and call them orphanages, and they raise money for it. CGT, Children of the Golden Triangle, is one of the most famous ones for doing this. It's run by David Stevenson. You can go to White Terror Productions and see Akha at the Crossroads, about video about these children being made to do child labor at CGT. And Rotary International backed CGT early on. They were reprimanded for it. They pulled their international project off their website, and then various Rotary clubs continue to fund and support CGT, including District 5100, Kristi Halvorson's in Lake Oswego and in the Northwest, okay, Oregon, Washington. So you have Rotary International promoting on their website and funding an organization that takes Akha children away. The donors know absolutely nothing about the Akha. They might even go there, and they see all these Akha children, and oh, isn't David Stevenson wonderful? He's helping all these children. They have no idea what their language is. They have no idea where they come from, and they have no idea the human rights situation that the people face. So the whole thing's a scam, and they're just told, zip, just give us your money and we'll keep doing this, right? Even on the Beach Rotary website, they have the audacity to publish a story about 2 girls getting raped at the local school that David, he had taken away from their families, and he took them to the local school and claims that they got raped by a teacher in the school, and therefore he needs more money to build 14 more new classrooms so that they won't be exposed to this danger. Well, what about leaving them with their parents? You know, that might be the first step, but anything, even girls getting raped, is good advertising to get more money to build more schools, right? So the crime in Haiti was that the missionaries took the children and moved them without legal documentation. Doesn't matter where they moved them. The same thing's happening to thousands of children in Thailand. The missionaries, the Baptists, the Lutherans, Luca, Ajay, Johan, River of Life, Chameleon Social Center, the Swedes, Children of the Golden Triangle. The list is quite extensive. DAPA, Overseas Missionary Fellowship. The list is quite extensive of these groups and individuals taking Akha children, setting up an orphanage of 20 to 30 children, saying that they're orphans when they're not, and moving them without proper documentation from the mountain villages to these fake orphanages. All right? But there's no investigation of it. The other thing is, when they take those children out of the villages, they are basically forfeiting any chance those children have to a future in their village with ownership of that land. As long as they're in the village, they have some chance of holding on to the land that they grow their food on and holding the village in the mountains. Once they've been forced out, split away from their families, their chance to hold on to their culture, their chance to hold on to their language, and the chance to hold on to their traditions and their agriculture is greatly diminished. The missionaries don't care about this because they have no tracking of where these children go after they get rid of them. They dump them out at some age on the street. They go back to the village. They go in brothels. They go into hard labor and construction sites. But they don't have land. This is a real issue. But the missionaries end up with brand new 4-wheel drives, nice houses, big compounds, big bank accounts, and a money system that keeps bringing them money in because they get rid of 2 children, they bring in 2 or 3 more. Okay? Now, there's a regular mafia there. The one orphanage gets closed for some type of illegality, and then 10 orphanages run over and grab those kids up because they can make money off them too. The U.S. Embassy is up to this in their neck. They know very well how this operation goes, but as long as it's white missionaries doing it, it's great. Now, the Chinese Baptists, they do it too, but most of their people are Taiwanese connected with U.S. passports to the United States, so it's only Chinese in name only, because they're following the same method all the Protestant and Catholic people do in Thailand of taking away Akha children. Doesn't bother anybody, as long as white people do it. There's no great uproar. There's no criminal investigations. There's no scandal. They just keep doing it. Okay, and when you say, hey, what are you guys doing? They go, well, it's those missionaries. You know, not all Christians are the best. It's them, and then, you know, basically it's like if you're a white missionary, you can do anything you want. You can get away with it, hide behind the church. I mean, we got these stories in Europe now over and over and over again about the Catholic Church. A priest was raping little boys way back in the 60s or 70s, and they knew about it, and they kept moving them to Mexico, move them to Spain, move them to Africa, and he kept doing the same thing over and over again. You just keep doing it. You just move them and cover it up. And meanwhile, the church has this incredible wealth that it accumulates, and it's having to pay some, but not like it should have to pay. There should not be a Catholic church left that has a dime. And the same thing should happen to the Protestants. The number of cases of sex abuse by church people on children compared to the number of cases where they're forced to pay for damages is a really big difference. You go to Thailand, the Swedes had a mission called Benedicta House. Practically every boy in the place had been raped by the guy that was running it. What did they pay? They paid nothing. He just left. The place got closed down. Other Swedish missions ran in and grabbed up the children, pretended nothing happened, but they got those children. Find the number of missions that are trying to protect Akha culture, that are trying to protect the language, that are trying to support families together. You won't find them in Thailand because they don't exist. They're just all in there to take away the children, just like what happened in Haiti, move them from the village to town without proper documentation, without oversight, without advocacy for those children, without advocacy from within the culture. They couldn't do it to Native Americans anymore, so they go somewhere else where they can do it. And they keep doing it. And you will never ever get these people to stop doing it as a group of people. They think it's their right, they're white, it's their right to do what they want to brown people. It just keeps going on and on.